Hello again everyone, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the ruler of the 12th house posited in the 12th house in a natal horoscope. Well, I think one firstly I want to get with the 12th house, the meaning. As most of you know, the 12th house is connected with restrictions, limitations, secret enemies or adversaries, covert activity, secret, solitude, seclusion, even hospitals and prisons. So obviously the person that has this placement has such a strong emphasis on all these things, might really have some profound interest in spirituality, the metaphysical, be exceptionally secretive, um, maybe puts a lot of, maybe an overemphasis on restrictions and limitations, can lead to the person's own undoing to some degree. Perhaps with this placement, I think one obvious thing to look at is that there may be ambivalence, ambiguity, confusion in connection perhaps with their own restrictions and limitations, perhaps as far as being cognizant of, well, you're not going to know your secret enemies, well, at least not off the bat since they are secret, but there might be some confusion as to these enemies when they are at some point uncovered, more likely than not, when they are uncovered, something that might be enigmatic or confusing about them. Perhaps this person's own restrictions and limitations at times in certain cases might be maybe somewhat magnified, or might be an illusion, or might be to their could lead even to their own undoing, possibly to some degree. There might be some confusion in connection perhaps with something at a hospital, maybe something that they were hospitalized for, maybe someone they know there, or someone that figures prominently in their life at this place, maybe something even some connection with prisons one way or another, where there might be some ambivalence and something that they're not really quite sure of and don't understand. We look at this placement, and perhaps even isolation, seclusion, solitude might lead to some kind of undoing for this person. This person may often spend time alone for introspective reasons, and to go through self-analysis to understand, try to gain greater comprehension of his or her limitations and restrictions. Perhaps some experience at a hospital or prison leads this person to more things that are connected with seclusion and solitude. A hospital might be a place of refuge for some of these people. We look at this placement, and we see that 12th house corresponds with Pisces, so we look at this as kind of a compassionate, philanthropic house, so to speak. So perhaps there is a very strong amount of compassion, philanthropy injected into whatever charitable activities that they undertake, or that these people get involved in. We see this placement, and there might be some confusion, ambivalence in connection with perhaps their spirituality, things connected of a metaphysical nature, paranormal. Maybe this person kind of has some mixed ambivalent thoughts that are connected with these things. We look at this placement, and there might be some kind of restriction and limitation, or limitations that are connected with their spirituality on some level. Perhaps for, let's say, even the metaphysical, maybe this person feels that they might be lacking in their knowledge of one or more of these subjects. For example, there might be some restriction or limitation that might be connected with something with not just their spirituality. Maybe they feel that at times they felt like they should have been more compassionate, or maybe even received it on some level. Restrictions and limitations might affect perhaps their spirituality, might impact their need for solitude and seclusion. Maybe this person can't seem to get away enough as much as he or she would like to. There might be some restriction that might lead this person to some experience in prison, might impact something in connection, I guess you could say, with prison to some degree. It doesn't necessarily mean that this person is going to be incarcerated, but this person could be, for example, a worker or somebody that works in the prison system. And really, we have to, we look at this as it might be their own, I guess you could say, their own compassion, their own philanthropic nature impacts what they do as far as things for a charitable cause. Perhaps this person gives charitably to hospitals and to prisons to some degree. There might be their own philanthropic nature might impact perhaps their spirituality. Perhaps this person does something, likes to give, and is very magnanimous to the church or congregation he or she belongs to. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the ruler of the 12th house, posited in the 12th house in a natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about, I'm going to get off this. It's not going to be house rulers after this. I'm going to be talking about the North Node, and then I'm going to be going into a series with the North Node in the signs of the zodiac. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis on a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.